Today we're going to have a debate. You see, the last few videos that we've done have been around correcting carbon fibre, press fit, bottom brackets, and the comment section has gone insane. And so really thank you for adding your thoughts on that. The tools I've got laid out in front of me today are the tools that every bike shop around the world have been using for centuries, quite literally, to correct similar problems in metal frames. So my argument is, why is it any different to carbon fibre? Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, the BSA bottom bracket, been around since the 1800s and something, it's almost 100 years old, and every bike shop has a set of BSA frame taps. Every bike shop has a set of BSA facing tools. Coupled to that, we are more than familiar in bike shops with bending rear derailleur hangers, with derailleur hanger gauges. We are more than familiar with using dishing tools to correct wheels that are out of dish. We have headset reamers for correcting headsets, and we even have dropout gauges for literally bending frames back into space. And recently we now have disc brake mounting kits as well, where we can actually grind away parts of the frame to make them nice and flat. So what makes a carbon fibre bottom bracket any different? The tools do exist, they're just hard to get hold of at the moment. The reason they're hard to get hold of is because bike shops don't buy them. You can literally buy PF41, 42mm for BB30 and 46mm for PF30 reamers and faces that fit this tool and correct those problems that we've been showing you in the videos. While they're out of stock, we've been using alternative methods such as holding tools, sandpaper and fitting gauges. Right, we're up for a debate. I'm going to take this to the desk and show you some other bits of information to get those thought worms going. This question then, is it the bike shop who takes responsibility for these frames that we've seen on my channel and the Hambini channel that have got defects come into fruition? Is it the fault of the bike shop or the bicycle brand? Now, my argument is that if the bike mechanic that actually put that bike together properly in the first point and signed a pre-delivery inspection form to say that it was okay, it's their fault. I think the Consumer Rights Act is on my side as well, because the Consumer Rights Act says that when there's a transaction of money for those goods and services should be of satisfactory quality and be safe, etc., etc. And if you, the rider, the consumer, has a problem with that, your first port of call is with the merchant, the person that you gave your money to. So why should we be blaming the brand? Some people have called me out of touch on that. Bike shop owners have said, you don't understand. I think I understand. I might be out of touch with the industry. I don't think I'm out of touch with the pissed off and fed up consumers who are sick of bike shops doing a shoddy job. Bike shops saying they don't have the time. I'm sorry, but are you trying to tell me that when you're selling a bike worth a couple of £1,000s that you do not have the time to fully check that bike to see it is of satisfactory quality? And if you're consistently being sold by the brand into your shop consistently poor quality products, why are you still selling them? Surely that relationship would have broken down by now if you were consistently being sold products that caused you problems, or maybe you're just ignoring them. Anyway, I want to give you a bit more context on this to help the debate along. Okay, let me flip into a couple of websites. Oh, this is the Tyon website, might have some interesting news. This is the Park Tool website, the most famous bicycle tool brand in the world. They pretty much make the most comprehensive range of tools of varying degrees of quality. Their cutting tools are the only ones out there that really make cutting tools of the size that we want. These cutting tools are used to correct frames. Now they have the 1-inch cutting die for cutting 1-inch steerer forks here. We have left and right hand tap for the new T47s. We have all these different faces for making sure that your headsets are smooth. And down here we have this, we've talked about this before, the 40.98mm reamer. Now this would be for correcting BB 86.5. And again, I've shown you, but if we come down to the bottom here, here's someone that's asked a question on this. Is that safe for a carbon frame? Best answer, it will cut carbon fibre, certainly. I can definitely attain to that. It will not harm carbon fibre. Carbon fibre can dull tools, however. Calvin Jones. So I'm pretty sure anyone that's been watching this channel knows who Calvin is as well. So just very quickly, I can definitely say that these tools do damage very quickly when you're cutting with carbon fibre, and you can't just run this through carte blanche. It will probably do more harm than good in a lot of cases, which is why we develop techniques using honing tools and the fitting tools and wet and dry sandpaper, etc., because that's generally speaking an awful lot safer. These cutting tools I would probably only use if that 40.95 gauge would go in and I just wanted to make it absolutely perfect into 40.98. I would not be using that cutting tool to remove a lot of material. It's literally just take off a few microns just to make it nice and round and perfect. But they're out of stock everywhere. The reason they're probably out of stock is because nobody buys them. Like, I don't know many shops that actually have them. Ours wore out a year ago, probably 2 years now actually, and we've been using honing tools and sandpaper and stuff like that ever since, and we've developed a fairly good technique using that. So when these come back in stock, we've got them on order. They'll be back in our shop. Okay, let's continue this debate. Next part of this debate is on this PDI form. It says frame condition alignment as specification. So do we know what the specifications are? Well, this is ISO standards for bicycles. This is 43.150, and coming down here you will see ISO 6696 drawn up in 1989 for screw threads used in bottom bracket assemblies. Quick history lesson here. BSA stands for Birmingham Small Arms. It's the company that started making bicycles, and the bottom bracket, the BSA that we know today, was sort of somewhere around the end of the 1800s, start of the 1900s. No one's entirely sure if it's like a development thing, but it took until 1989 until it was written into a British standard, which became a European standard, and is now an ISO standard. So there we go. It's taken almost 100 years to make the BSA bottom bracket standard. So press fit, as we know it today, probably started in the early 2000s with Cannondale. Thanks, Cannondale. So we've got about another 80 years before we can expect an international standard to be written up. But there we go. If it ever does happen, it might look a bit like this, and you can, look up all the dimensions, etc. But that is no excuse, because we have all the information we need. Now, thank you to SRAM for this. And actually, this is their frame fit specifications for road components. There's another one for mountain bike. You can Google this, dead easy to find. I haven't managed to find the up-to-date Shimano one anywhere. I don't know where it is or how you obtain it, but this is normally what frame builders would do. So if you're thinking about building your own frame, you would get one of these to make sure that all your chain lines, etc., are all right. I'm presuming that there is one for Shimano. I haven't been able to find one that's newer than 2011. There must be one. Again, if anyone knows where that is, then please forward it on to me. But anyway, this is the SRAM one, which is pretty comprehensive. I won't go into all this. Take a look at it. It will tell you everything you ever wanted to know. We are just going to go straight to bottom brackets. And down here is everything you need to know. Here we go. Here is the BSA Italian bottom bracket with all its JIS, the Japanese industrial standards. Yep, it got picked up by them as well, and all of that, all those dimensions. T47, Chris King standard, doesn't have any of that. This is all the dimensions listed here. Press fit 30. You get the idea. Our famous press fit Road 8 86.5 or PF41, this is the one we have probably the most amount of problems with. Look, all the dimensions are there for you to check. Absolutely no excuses, it's all there. And BB30 has got its own website. It's pretty out of date, to be honest, but it's all there if you need it. So here's my thing. We know about the Consumers' Rights Act. We are trained as mechanics to check frame condition and to bring that up to specification as we can discover. We know where to look those specifications up. We make the tools. We know the tools are safe to use on carbon fibre bikes. We're developing this technique. We've been working on an aluminium and steel and titanium for centuries. So what's different when it comes to carbon fibre? Why are there shouts of send it back, or more to the point, why are there shouts from bike shops of ignore the problem? and why aren't the mechanics sorting them out like we have done for Century with aluminium ones? Okay, over to you in the comments. I'm really looking forward to this one because I think it's quite a contentious subject, and I really think that the industry needs to start training mechanics how to deal with carbon fibre, because let's face it, it is a modern material, it is here to stay. The press fit bottom bracket, I think, as much as people are changing it, I think it is here to stay, especially if we can get on top of these standards, and I think it needs an ISO standard written. Okay, right, I'm done.